process. Appreciate you. Let's see. Did it do it? Thank you. Did it do it? Okay, I invited. Welcome everybody. Hello. Welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm just waiting on my special guest for this evening to join us. Please excuse my nose and my voice. I just came down with a cold yesterday, but we're gonna make it happen and make it do what it do in the meantime. So glad to have you all. Come on in, share the live, hit that like button so we can get it out there into the algorithm. Tonight's conversation is going to be on the spiritual awakening, the experience of experiencing you. Just want to share tonight, for those of you that aren't familiar with Affirmations Apparel, my t-shirt and hoodie line. Tonight, if you use the discount code AFFIRM20, you get 20% off your entire purchase. The link is in my bio to purchase. It's just during this live tonight. Get that 20% off. Looking forward to this conversation. This is a gentleman I've been following here on TikTok for a couple months now. And when I tell you he's the real deal, he's the real deal. He understands the process. He understands the journey. He speaks about it. He teaches about it. He is breaking it down so clearly and letting people know what this thing called the spiritual awakening is about, the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs. It's amazing. And I just wanted to bring him on board Conscious Conversations so he could share his wisdom with all of you. You know what I love about connecting with people? Like, once again, if you guys were here last week, Cynthia Robinson was on with me. And once again, he and I have never had an actual conversation. It's just pretty much been commenting on people, on lives and on each other's posts and things like that. We've never had a conversation, which is what I absolutely love about how conscious conversation naturally flows. Once again, it's just an example of higher conscious level interaction with people actually takes place because we have a lot in common on a spiritual level, on a conscious level, on a an elevated mindset level, and an understanding and an understanding of how all of this goes. And it's just pretty dope to connect with other people who get it. Like I said, people who are the real deal, you know. And also, I think it's part of my process and purpose to share with you people who are the real deal, because we're entering a time where consciousness and wokeness and spirituality are becoming somewhat of a fad. I've said this before, and it's unfortunate that it is becoming a fad. And for those who are going through an awakening, those that are seeking, and those that are going through their transformative times, you need to know what we sound like. You need to know what it feels like to hear it. A lot of people are on repeat when they are when they're regurgitating certain things, and they know the language, but we're gonna break down how to listen to your intuition, because although they may speak the language, it doesn't necessarily mean that they know and have experienced this very thing. They don't always know what they're talking about. They're just repeating things that they've heard. And I want to always present people who I know are actually going through the process, have walked the walk, have experienced their own awakening, their own journey, their own healing, their own journey of seeking, and can just be a guide, be a light for you, you know, and teach you how to discern who's the real and who's not. It's a process. So
That's
yes, I don't
that's
know.
it. I just had to put my headphones on. That's it.
Maybe, I don't know.
All
Well,
right. I'm sorry. My
no
apologies.
worries. It was right on time. You know what's crazy? It's like I was thinking about it. I said something doesn't want this to happen, but it's gonna happen.
No, we gonna figure this out. Yeah, my apologies, folks.
No worries.
I'm glad to be here. I was listening to you, and being in the conscious, this state and trying to figure this whole process out. So I'm really happy to be here with you and share this time. Just like you said, we hadn't talked before,
Hmm.
but for whatever reason, there was some alignment. There was a video or something, and it was like, okay, hey, let's go, let's get it. So
Absolutely.
that's what I'm here. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Thank you so much once again for choosing to be here with me and to continue to do this work, to share our wisdom, our knowledge, our insight, our experience with those who are embarking, yet to embark, or have that thing within them that's saying something's happening. I
Hmm.
don't know what it is, but something's happening.
Hmm.
Because that basically that's our job. That's our duty. It's our
Hmm.
obligation. And I know you love it. I love it. Those of us that have reached a certain point in our journey, we love it enough to say there's times we don't love it. There's times we just downright say, why did I pick this?
Mm.
And it's so refreshing. I was just telling the audience, it's so refreshing now for me to not feel alone
Hmm.
in the journey, because for so many years we did
Hmm.
not know others were feeling these same emotions and having these experiences and feeling like what's wrong with me,
Hmm.
compared
Hmm.
to those that are around us who aren't ever going to go on their spiritual journey and have
Hmm.
these awakenings, because it's just not meant for them to do it, possibly, or just not yet time.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I want you to introduce yourself to everyone.
Hmm. So, my name is Dom Waltower, aka King Dom, and I am someone that's definitely been on a journey. And it's there's a lot to talk about, but I don't want to just go through my whole journey because that'll be 2 hours. But in a nutshell, my awakening started in 2009, and of course, it started with some trauma. It started with my divorce, and so after my divorce, I started to awaken, and it led me to start asking questions about myself, about my faith, because I was in church at the time. And then it just opened me up to this world of, okay, it was like I woke up from the matrix after that trauma, and I started to realize, wait a minute, this ain't adding up. Like, and I started deconstructing everything. And the first thing I deconstructed was me. So a lot of people don't know my background. I was abusive in my relationship. I was toxic. I was and my relationship was toxic. So it was just a playground for toxicity for both of us. And then after that, I realized what the hell. I asked, what is wrong with me? Why? What's wrong with me? And then I started doing just self work, self exploration. I started going to counseling, therapy. I was in church at the time, so I was going to men's groups. I did a bunch of self work to figure out myself. So it took me about 3.5 years. And the more I discovered about myself, the more I recognized, man, I really don't even know who I am. I like, who the hell am I? Like, how did I get there? Like, how am I? I didn't understand it. And then, after about 3.5 years, I really started looking at everything else because I deconstructed from me first.
Yep.
Like, I didn't have the external, like, oh yeah, the world is all horrible. No, it's like, man, I got some stuff. I got to deal with my stuff first. So I did that, and then I saw the world, and then I started asking questions even about, my religion. Like, is this real? Like, and it just, I posted a video talking about this today about when you become spiritually awakened, you become a seeker of truth. So I sought the truth about me first, and then I sought the truth, and then nothing else stood a chance after that if it was a lie in my life. If I'm going to break me down,
Yep.
everything else, whatever else in my life, it's not going to stand a chance. So I deconstructed religion, education, relationships, everything. And so I've just been on this journey of just continuous healing, continuous growth, and then at the same time, I got a calling to speak. It's like, hey, your throat chakra works. Let it go. Let
Use
it
it.
go. Yeah, and I wasn't scared. I don't know why. I was confident in something I didn't even really know.
It was
But it
true.
was, so yeah, yeah, exactly. So, and that's something for me, in this awakening, like I said, truth became my guide. I wanted truth, and it's still that way. It's still that way. If I still have an untruth in me, my ego jumps in somewhere. It's getting called out. Like, I will call it out because I don't deal with my own mess. I don't like having but that doesn't mean I don't have it. First of all, let me put that out here. Like, I don't walk on water. I have to swim just like the rest of us. All right. So, but but yet and still, like, but I as I look at this journey now, and I look at everything that happened, and look at everything that I actually called in. I called this in. I brought this. Like, I've done this. I did this, and you know. So I already say, when I get to the next level, I need to see management. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like,
I say that all the time. I'm like, when did I sign up for this? Like, let me. Did they catch me when I was sleeping, or well, like, what was it?
Now,
Because it's amazing. You touched on, you started with self, and then it went into, your religion and relationships and so on and so forth. And it's very exciting how it trickles down one layer at a time. At each of those layers, you go through a different cycle, and for me, each of those cycles was a different awakening. It was like you get to the peak where you find that integration of, okay, I get it, I got it. Oh
right,
my
right.
gosh, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden, boom, you go back to the bottom.
Hmm.
And it's like, here's a whole new one. That's where you've seen jokes on the internet where it says your spirit guides are laughing at you and your ancestors are laughing at you because they're getting ready to put you through another one. But it's the continuous cycle of you, of literally going through and course correcting and aligning and discovery. And to me, that's what the spiritual awakening is. It is
Hmm.
you awakening to you,
Hmm.
remembering who you really are and why you are here. Because when we do break ourselves down and say, who am I? The next question is, okay, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? How long do I have to get this done? Well, now, okay, because you don't know how long exactly. And then it's the how, it's the basic who, what, when, where, why, how. How
Right,
do I get this done? And the how slowly starts to unfold as you keep going along throughout the process. But it's ongoing, it's never ending. We're going to be
right.
doing this for the rest of our lives. And I think that's where in the early stages, we find a lot of frustration because we're like, oh, I gotta go through this again. Oh my gosh, I want to get back to that feeling of peace and this, that, and the third. But now, when you see the BS coming, you're like, all right, cool, let's get it. Because you're getting ready to,
Oh, that's what we doing today?
yeah, that's this what it is gonna be. Okay, oh, just do nothing today, right? Do nothing, okay, because we feeling kind of low today, so let's just do nothing. Let's recharge, reboot. You kind of, when you get to know who you are, you get to understand what the process and the experience is without the details. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to know exactly what's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen, but how. But it's a surrendering. It's a allowing it to take place however it's supposed to pan out. I'm gonna make the right choices because I'm in alignment with what it is that I want for myself, what it is I desire for myself, what it is I see that's for me. And as I'm on this journey, I know I'm already well equipped. I know that there's nothing that's going to get presented in front of me that I can't handle. And at the top of the list, I know I'm going to get through this
Hmm.
because everything before today that tried it
Hmm.
didn't succeed.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's the confidence, self awareness, self knowing,
Knowing.
self belief. Like you got to, I already been through hell. We've been there a couple times, and I'm well acquainted with it, and I know my way out. So let's go, let's do it.
Have you seen the series Severance yet?
No,
It's on Apple TV. When
okay,
y'all get a chance, watch Severance, and then Severance. I don't want to give it away, but in a nutshell, there's a higher self. There's one version of yourself and another version of yourself. And then the one version of yourself is looking at the other version like, why are we doing this? I want to get out of here. I don't want to do this. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other version that put them there, I was like, no, you good, stay there, keep going. If when you get a chance, watch Severance. Severance is like I said, it's on Apple TV. But this whole this whole process is I'm just coming out of a dark night of the soul for the last year and a half. Like and listen, I was questioning whether I should even be here. I'm like, am I done? Like, are y'all? Because clearly y'all don't love me. Like, clearly y'all just want me to die. Like
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. I was like, because it was like a season where you don't feel connected to source. You don't feel, and I'm like, what the hell? Because before that, so the work that I do, I work in the domestic abuse field. I teach classes. I teach anger management. I teach domestic violence classes. I do a lot of work with the military, work with the Marine Corps, and working with Marines in the world of domestic abuse. And so opportunities few years ago were just everywhere. And I remember telling my son, I said, son, I don't really look for jobs. They find me. I was in the flow state and it was just beautiful. I was like, oh my God, bam, here, everything. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, it all dried up.
Yep.
Like I thought I had made it. I was like, I'm good. I just need to keep doing my purpose for the rest of. And then everything dried up. Like finances dried up, opportunities. And I'm sitting here, and then I started scratching and crawling, trying to get everything. I'm trying to make things happen. But
Yes.
then nothing was happening, and I was telling my cousin, he was like, "Cuzzo, you just need to do this and go." And I'm like, "Listen, man, this is not natural. This is a spiritual thing that's happening to me."
Mm-hmm.
This is a spiritual thing that's happening to me because ain't no way in hell that all of these doors are just closing at the same time. And so I was supposed to sit. Now, during that sitting throughout that year, I fought for like, 6 months. I was fighting. Like I fought. And so I was meditating one day. And then in the middle of my meditation, I'm doing breath work. So I'm inhale, hold my breath. And then I got the download. It says, keep holding it and relax. And so I'm like, wait, what the hell? What? Again, y'all really don't love me because you don't love me. Because if you did, why are you telling me I'm like, I don't have breath and you're telling me to relax. Like, that's the, like, what? And then so I just did it. I just relaxed. And then I sat there holding my breath for I don't know how long, but I didn't feel like I needed to breathe. I was just hoping. And then I was like, well, shoot, I guess I gotta breathe eventually. Like, but it wasn't because I needed to. It was because I was like, oh, I got to. I know I have to. And so I just opened up, and that was a lesson to me. Like, relax into this. They're telling me, relax into this. Allow. You said the word surrender, which for me is like, no, I'm gonna make this happen. All right, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna make that happen. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna call this person. I got these connects over here.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing worked. Nothing worked. Like every door was closed. And then I started thinking about my life. I was like, man, I've been through this period a few times because I remember this happened back in 2007.
That's what it's
2000,
for.
this happened in 2000. Like nobody, I remember saying I couldn't relate to anybody. Nobody was there. And so coming out of this, recent dark night of the soul, um, has just put me in a place of, so that's what you're seeing now. Because I only start talking about this about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
You see on my page, I be talking about relationships and all types of stuff. And then one day I got the download, forget all that, talk about this now.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay. And as the inspiration leads, you know how it goes. You
I
speak.
watched his shift. I did watch his shift.
There was this. I ain't talking about. I
To
mean, I
me,
do a little bit.
it was still in alignment with the same kind of perspective, but I did watch it shift. You were talking about men and women and communication and so on and so forth, and then it was like, wait a minute, now you're talking about you speaking my language now. But you took it to another level, which is the next level of you. When we go, and that's what I was saying. That cycle. It's like, and when you can recognize, I've been here before, different script but same story. And when we can catch that, we can say, okay, what do I need to do at this point, and what do I not need to do? That's important because you said you were scraping, you were doing,
Fighting.
and that's the second step of awakening. I understand. The first step is when everything starts falling apart. That's the first thing. That's the shaking. Like when you're trying to wake somebody up, you shake them or you tap them or you try to get their attention. That's the first step of awakening, when everything starts to crumble.
Hmm.
Because it has to, wait a minute, something's wrong. Something's not right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right.
It's
Then we
traumatic.
it is. It's horrible. We lose, things start stopping. Your cash flow isn't like, wait a minute, because guess what we don't understand is that cycle is the end of one and at the beginning of the next. That's what a cycle is. Life, the end of life, a transformation, a transition. It's an ending and a beginning all at once. And your first reaction is to do something about it. That's the doing. That's the I can make this happen. That's manifesting, creating, trying to fix it the way that it was. But what we learn in that process of trying to fix it and make it the way that it was, it's not supposed to be the way that it was.
Oh my gosh.
It's supposed
That
to
that
become the next something. So here, now that I need to stop doing and start looking, listening, and learning,
hmm hmm
because I'm becoming something new. All of this is changing. I've never been here before. It looks familiar, but it's not the same. That's the
hmm
part that human beings struggle with evolution, with change, with evolving and aligning with that next. Stop trying to go back. That's over. Now you read that chapter.
and that chapter that you're talking about was a chapter that I had built, and it was stable because what we're all chasing stability. We want to get stability in our lives, and then I was like, okay, I made it, I got this, so I'm in my purpose. I'm gonna just keep doing this, and then like you said, there was a new script handed to me, and I was like, no, I'm this is what I'm doing because this is what I know to do. I'm very good at. They gave me the new script, and my new script was, hey, you're not talking about relationships so much anymore. You're going to be speaking about your spiritual journey. And I'm like, who, where, can I see the manager, please? Like, cause this ain't working. and, and I'm telling you, I was wild and I was crashing out because I didn't understand it. And then throughout this last year, and throughout this, I started to just, what you said, surrender. And I realized this ain't changing. I've tried everything. I've tried, because now in that past version of yourself, the creativity works. When you create something, it comes to life. It breathes. It actually works. And then so I'm still trying all of those methodologies to get this thing going again. And then nothing would come to life. Everything died. And that's when I realized, oh, that's what I told my cousin. I was like, nah, cuzzo, bro, this ain't my effort. My effort ain't gonna change this. This
Mhm.
is a spiritual thing. I'm supposed to fall to the bottom. They want me to fall to the bottom. I'm supposed to get something down there, and start anew. But like I said, that fight was that, man. It was hard, but I'm grateful for the journey, for the process. And I understand now when I see life happen this way. I did another video, I haven't posted it yet, but I talked about being able to accept the outcome of things. Uh, and just like, this is what we're doing? We fall? Okay, we falling? Oh, okay, cool. Let me get my seatbelt. Okay. Oh, I don't even have a seatbelt. Oh, okay, cool, no problem. Let me just go ahead and fall to the bottom. And as I'm falling, the crazy part about falling, the more you fall, the more you ascend.
Yep.
Like the more you go down physically 3D, the more you go up 5D.
As
And
above,
and I
so below. It's just like that. It's just like the shirt you wear all the time, the tree of life. The deeper the roots, the higher the tree will grow. It's the balance of everything, right?
yeah.
But
hmm
the what a spiritual awakening is, it's an awakening of to self, but it's a death of the ego. So those
Mm,
parts of you that are holding on to the old ways, until you surrender, it's afraid to go. It's afraid because it won't exist anymore. It does
right.
have purpose, but we control it, we manage it, we learn how to have how to dominate it. We learn how to now live from our higher self, our true self. And
Right.
that ego that was created for us by our communities, by society, by our families, by our experiences. That's what's holding on for dear life. That's the fight. That's the
Hmm.
fight. It's struggling to survive, and
Hmm.
we don't know. You can. It's such a crazy process
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
it go because it's all you've ever really known. Because you
Yeah.
forgot who you really are.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
spiritual awakening is trying to tell you, hey, it's me. This ain't gonna be easy, but this we getting ready to go through some things because you holding on to this over here, and I'm trying to tell you, you're good. And once you realize I'm good, whatever comes before me, I'm gonna be able to handle it. I'm gonna be able to deal with it. I'm also gonna grow from it. So
Hmm.
that's what I always tell people: get excited about it because you asked for this. Like you said, you called it in. You called it in. You asked for it. And the more and the more you seek, the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you ask for it. You're like, oh my God. Because it's literally the definition to me of a natural high.
Mm.
It's a natural, it's the most highest you can go. And it's like there is nothing of substance on this earth that can match that. When you
That's
when you
true.
when you get it and when you know you're not there anymore, you're like, okay, I gotta get back up there because that's the objective. I gotta get back up there. I gotta go. I gotta get this because it feels amazing. But I also know my work is down here. The work is down here. The
Hmm.
reward is up here.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I
The
can take
3D,
the world. Yeah, the 3D.
this 3D work, as long as we're in these meat suits, we're gonna be dealing with meat suit issues. And it's like, okay, my like you said, the ego, not letting go. But when I finally was able to let go, I started to receive directions as far as who I am. I did a medicine trip. I did a medicine trip, and in that medicine trip, they said, "You're the one that is causing all this." Like they went straight to it. And they was like, "You did this."
Hmm.
And I was just like, what? And then they said, remember who you are. You're a creator. You are a creator. And it was like it was something like you are of God. You are this you're the one that's doing this. And then I remember thinking to myself, well, if I'm the one that set this up this way, then I'm the one that can change it. I'm the, and I just have to figure out how to change it, which was sit your butt down, surrender to the process, allow those downloads to continue hitting you, and then this was about remembering who I was. And I remember waking up one morning and my body was buzzing. It was buzzing, like I felt like every cell in my body was buzzing, like I had been visited that night, or that and then that it just hit me. It was like, oh, yeah, you're an extension of God. So stop worrying, like relax. And then they said, we've been dropping crumbs this whole time.
Blown away.
Yeah, breadcrumbs about who. And so something. So my name is Alejandro Dominique.
Okay.
That's my name. Strange ass name. My name is strange. Like it's
It's
weird.
yours.
No, no, but if you look at me, you're like, man, this dude black. He ain't like, where you get that? Alejandro? Are you Mexican? Nah, I'm black. Dominique is a girl's name. Okay, so the crazy part about that is that when I looked up the meaning of my name, Dominique means belonging to God. Alejandro means protector of men. And I'm like,
Wow.
and I'm like, my mom wasn't even on that though. That was the thing. Like, oh, she didn't do that. I did
You know what's crazy?
that.
When I really processed my name, I asked my parents because my dad's name was Donald. And they named me Dawn. And I said, was that like, they were like, no, we just like the name, even though it sounded like my dad's, because they call him Don.
Yeah.
And I said, well, my name is Dawn. And they were like, yeah, and your name is, my middle name is Kristen.
Okay.
When I, first life, new beginnings, um, then I said, okay, Kristen also means anointed, Christ-like. And I
Right.
was like, okay. And then it went even deeper when I said, wait a minute, I'm an Aquarius. I figured this out a long time ago. That's where Dawn of the Aquarius comes from. When I started learning about the age of Aquarius,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
one who brings
Mm-hmm.
the light. And I was like, my name means first light. and it's the age of Aquarius. Anointed. I'm like, dude, I got something I'm supposed to be doing here. Like, this is crazy. And
uh,
it's like, if you really pay attention, like, it's not by chance. It's
it's
not
not.
by error, just like your time of birth is not by chance. It's not by error because it's just it's miraculous to me because I was supposed to be born in January and I came the last day of Aquarius, so I'm on the cusp.
Hmm.
And it's like I have these Pisces traits as well as this Aquarius thing, and it's just like I'm just gonna be a confusion situation here, but it's like I love those different aspects
Hmm. Hmm.
of
Yeah.
me and energetically. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. You
it's
know,
been fun getting to know me.
that part, because another thing is that in my journey, like 2010, I was still in my self-discovery journey, and like three people randomly just reached out to me on social media. I wasn't even in the spiritual journey like this at all. They said, hey, we want to do readings on you. One person was from Australia, one was from the UK, and one was from like Pennsylvania. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I had just left religion. I was like, why not? Go ahead and do a reading on me, you know? And then they did the reading, and there was a common theme in all of them. All of them said the same thing. They said you have a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And
I love it.
when they told me that, I'm like, man, what you talking about? Like,
I
don't talk. You don't know me like that. You know, that's what I. But I didn't understand. And then, you know, having the balance of those, I was like, oh, well, I guess I do. Even my name,
yeah.
Dominique. Somebody mentioned that Dominique is the feminine.
Yes.
Dominic is the masculine. You know,
Uh-huh.
somebody mentioned in the comments, Alejandro is masculine. So I got a masculine name and a feminine. And I'm just like, come on, man. Who's doing this? Who is doing like this? This ain't this.
Like you said, the breadcrumbs came before we were even born. They were just getting dropped. They were just getting dropped in ideas and all this stuff. See, that's what I'm saying. Spirit talks to us all the time. Source is
Oh my God.
always saying something to us. If you are awakened to it, you can hear it. My ear was just ringing a few minutes ago. You know, it just be like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
we're on
Yeah.
a roll here. You know, but it's if you know what you're looking for, even if you don't know what you're looking for, something is right there in front of your face all the time.
Hmm.
Crazy thing,
Hmm.
like I'm heavy into numerology.
Right.
Not heavy. I dabble. Let's just say that. But I see synchronicities everywhere
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
22 over here. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's just that thing. And before I can say, I was still in my victim phase of the awakening where
Right.
life was doing this. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I remember I had a storage unit and I was collecting furniture from people because I was homeless. I lived in my car once upon a time.
Right.
And
Me too. Me too.
I think that's like a rite of passage.
It is. It is.
I think it's like a rite of passage. So I had a storage unit that I got that I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to afford this thing because I'm not really working steadily and you know whatever, whatever. So I'm collecting pieces. My parents were moving here to Vegas, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be me in LA. I'm good. Like I got the storage unit. I did not realize until after about 3 years when I moved to Vegas and I'm going through this box of paperwork. And every month I was paying $111 on this storage unit. And I said it was right there in front of me the whole time,
The
telling
whole
me,
time.
go in this direction. You're on the right path. We're trying to click, 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 let you know you're good.
The
And I
whole
said, I'll
time.
be, but it just wasn't, it was little things along the way. It was
Yeah.
people, brief interactions that completely shifted things around.
Hmm.
Those are the breadcrumbs that we're speaking of. Those
Hmm.
are the
Hmm.
moments where you say, oh, that one encounter, that one word someone said sparked everything for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't ignore it. And that's why I'm heavy on people. Listen to your intuition. It's talking to you 24 hours a day.
I
And
just did a video on that. Like your voice becomes, I said that your,
it gets
when
loud.
you become awakening, it gets louder and then you actually start listening. Because when I think about the awakening for me, it's like you said, it has been speaking to me, but I was like, nah, that can't be. That makes no logical sense. You know, what they're telling me to do. Like, so here's one more thing when you talk about synchronicity. So today's my birthday. Um,
Happy
to,
birthday!
Thank you. I appreciate that. But today is also the full moon or
Flower
whatever moon,
moon.
the flower moon. And then, so a friend of mine sent me, she said, "Hey, did you know that your birthday is on the flower moon?" And she sent me this thing, like what that means. And of course, it says you are going through an intense spiritual awakening right now. I'm like, come on, man, quit playing. Like, what? Really? Right? Really? If your birth, it said if your birthday falls on this is what that means. And I said, come on, man. So you talk about synchronicities. You talk about the things that like when I walk around, like my energy is just different. My whole like the energy comes through TikTok, like to
Yeah.
where people are like, and it's not. Yeah, I don't know what I mean. I'm not. I mean, I guess I'm doing something different, but the energy is speaking.
Yes.
It's speaking. It's saying to people. It's like, hey, here we are. Let's go. I'm over here talking about this. Again. I'm looking at this in a month, and the first video that I did was like it just popped, and then the next one popped, and I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now naturally in my life, I'm a speaker. I'm a public speaker. I go and I do events. I speak, and but I could see how all the pieces are coming together, to where this is where I'm supposed to be. But the mistake I made in the last version of me was I got married to that version. And I was like, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing forever. I got me, and then so when the divorce came, I was running after. No, don't leave me. No, no, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over. This season's over. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, I've accepted the divorce. Okay, that season is done. Let's get ready for the next one. Let's accept everything that's happened. Understand who I am. Understand my power. Understand my consciousness, my awareness, and then use that to speak. Because, like you said earlier, so many people, and what I'm seeing now, so many people don't know and feel like they're alone. When I look at the comment sections and people are like, oh, I didn't know it was anybody. I thought it was just me. And I'm thinking like, damn. And so I'm looking at the pain of the loneliness,
Yeah.
which is actually a part of the journey.
Yep.
But, for them to say, they're like, I can't talk to anybody. And I would always just try to comment, say, well, your community's here now. Like
Yeah.
we here,
We're
you're,
linking up. We're locking in. It's beautiful. And I want to just
yes.
really quickly thank you again, especially for choosing to be here on your born day. Like, thank you.
No, it's all right.
That's amazing. Happy
Girl, I'm
birthday.
watching. I'm washing clothes. I ain't.
I did that on my birthday too. I was like,
I,
okay. I did. I was like, I'm just in the house. I was on the computer. I was like, it's just today. But
I,
yeah, that lonely is an opportunity that we had to learn is an opportunity
mhm,
to be able to tune everything else out and
mhm,
to learn
mhm,
how to listen within. It's so crazy. Here's another crazy thing. So my last name starts with an E. And
uh-huh,
for years, I'm talking since high school, I would sign my E a certain kind of way, and I'll show it to you later. And my E was always the same way. It looks almost like a treble clef, but it's
mhm,
you, right?
mhm, mhm,
And about 5, 6 years ago, I was on Pinterest or something, and I was looking up different symbols. I was like for tattoos because I'm always, I only have two, but I'm like I want more. And I said, what is a good, you're looking up all the different names and things like that. And I said, what is my slogan right now for myself? And I said, listen within, listen within. So I said, what's the symbol for listen within? It was the exact same E that I have been signing my name with to this very day. Kid you not.
I believe you because
Kid you not. I said, oh my good. It's not only is it meant to be, it's something that's very special, very sacred, and it's gonna happen. But
Oh yeah.
little by little, it was just something in you that just made you want to do that thing. Just like you being a public speaker.
Mhm.
I was in the music industry, so being on stage came natural. When I first started getting on stage and speaking, effortless. There was no fear. Like some people like, my only thing was I don't know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And then it just comes out.
The downloads hit you as you're speaking. Like it.
Man,
I don't.
and
People be like, "Oh, you're gonna talk about it?" Like, dude, I don't know half the stuff I said up there. Like, that was off script, but
we never remember. That's the crazy part. And we have to go back and watch or revisit whatever it was because it's not us. That's the part of the spiritual awakening that's so
Right.
amazing, because we are the vessel that's being used, and our higher self is speaking through us, because this is what needs to be said. This is what needs to be heard by those that can hear us.
Oh, so to that point, in one of my medicine trips, I was told that as well. I was said they said to me, and when I say they, it was me, and all of us because we are one. And they said to me, "You don't speak from there. You speak from here." They said that's why. That's why it's like they said you speak from here, and I was like, "Duh, okay," because I knew it wasn't me. I always knew that. Like I don't know
I
where
don't
this
want
is
any
coming from.
credit. I don't want
Yeah,
any credit.
I would say that all the time. I said, "Dude, I don't know where this is coming from." You
Right.
so wait. You said yours is listen within. Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Yeah. So mine is one of the most powerful down, and I'm getting this tattoo. Number one, I'm getting a tattoo, and it's gonna say I am.
Mhm.
I am, and that's going to be, and then the other side is going to say, I am everything and nothing at the same time. You already know. You already know. You because
Everything and nothing. Like that's the crazy part. That's something that, oh my gosh, I just wish everybody at some point would grasp. Everything has an opposite. You can't have one without the other. And I
right,
say this, there is no good, there is no bad. There
right,
is no right, there is no wrong, per se.
yeah,
I wear a size 8.5 shoe. What size shoe do you wear?
12,
That's not the right size shoe for me. It's the
mm-hmm,
wrong size for me. It's a
mm-hmm,
matter of perspective from the individual standpoint. And when
mm-hmm,
we can learn that what's for me is for me, what's for you is for you, and develop that compassion and understanding and respect, that R word is a big deal. I respect that you wear a size 12 and I don't. I respect that your shoes are not supposed to fit me. I respect the fact that we don't shop at the same shoe store. That it's just that simple, but that complicated, because we are trained as human beings to not accept our individuality. Even though when we're little, they say, "Oh, we're all the same." We got boy and girl, whatever, whatever. But we're all the same.
mm-hmm,
And then all of a sudden, now we're getting split. Well, we actually are individuals, but we do come from one. It's
mm-hmm,
the first law of the universe, the law of
right,
one.
right,
Everything is one.
right.
We are just a different expression of
Of
that
that,
one. Just an expression. So you are you, I am me, but we're the same.
we are we.
We are. I like that. We are
We
we.
we
And
are we.
and when we can finally grasp that, that's how come those of us who have gone through an awakening, it's or multiple, let's just say, we have a natural respect for one another. We have a
Yes,
natural love for one another.
yes.
That's where the term namaste comes in. People can clown about it all the time. Namaste is I see the God in you, and I pray
Mm-hmm,
you see the God in me. It's
mm-hmm,
just that simple.
mm-hmm.
We are the same. I love you because you're a human being. I love you
Right.
because you're here in this world. I don't have to like you, but if I don't like you, I know where to put you over
Mm-hmm,
there.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That
mm-hmm.
is how we handle it as human beings. But as spiritual beings, I'm going to treat you with respect, compassion, and kindness and love.
When you say that, so what I've noticed is that since in this short time of speaking about spirituality, I've had people of different religions, and they're all coming, and they're coming trying to tell me, hey, well, God is, this or Jesus or Allah, or I'm like, hey, but for me, I'm like, hey, I'm so glad that you found your path. Blessings on you, brother.
Yes.
Blessings on you. Like, but I found mine, and so I respect yours. So please respect mine. And because I remember in my path in religion, I see religion like I see it like this. There's a building and there's like 500 rooms in that building. And religion is just one room. You go into that one room and then they tell you, stay in here, don't go out because if you go to the third floor, this is going to happen. And then I'm the one that was like, well, I want to know what's on the third floor. So I went and explored all of the room and it's all of the rooms. I went to all 500 of them. And then after that, I walked outside. I was like,
Right.
oh, there's a whole other world out here.
A lot of rooms out
Spirituality.
here. Wait a minute. Hi, how are you? Tell me about your room.
Yeah, spirituality. And then there was another building. And then there was another building down the street, and then there was a car. You can catch a bus to the ocean, and
I want to know what's going in all of them.
that's what
I
it
want to
was
know.
for me.
That's
But for people that said, "Hey, I want to stay in this room," blessings on you.
stay in the
I
room.
have no blessings on you, but I'm not going to fight with you and try to. I was saying that in one of the videos I was saying, my spiritual walk has never ever put me in a in a place where I have to go convert everybody. No,
Mm-mm.
no. What it
I,
did tell me, what I did get was, to speak my truth. Whoever comes along, they come along, and whoever says no, not. I have no. You know what I understand? I understand that my journey is mine and that if yours is yours, if you are at that level in your journey, so be it. Like if I'm at that, or you're in that room and I'm in this, so be it. And it's not my place to judge you or to speak negatively of you or to tell you that, what you believe is stupid or no. It's like you said, respect. And so it's a couple of concepts that I came up with: spiritual respect,
mm-hmm,
respecting someone, and then spiritual consent.
mm-hmm.
Consent. Like, think of consent. You know what consent means? Like, hey, we both have to agree. So before you come telling me about this, I didn't agree. I didn't agree to hear, or you forcing this on me. I'm. You have to agree. So spiritual consent is something for people to. I actually do a video about that, about talking about consent, but I haven't put it out yet. But just instead of trying to force people, just allow people to be on their path. Like I don't control your path. That's my ego if I'm trying to stop it. Well, you need to do this. No, you don't need to do nothing. You need to just do whatever your intuition tell you to do. And it's out of my hands. That's above my pay grade, by the way. When I leave here, I will speak to management about it, but right, I'm still here.
He's like, I got my appointment right there with management.
As soon as I get out of it. And I'm like, listen,
So
I'm
look, this is on point. Because I stay with a notebook. Like, look, okay, can we talk about this when I was 16? Like, who did that? Who signed up for
did I
that?
really sign that?
That's crazy. So, what do you experience? I mean, I think we touched on it a little bit. You were talking about like sensations in the body. What for people who and I had a little poll up here for people that were in here. Let me see if I can touch this thing. Um, I had a poll I was going to take for anybody that's in here. Maybe you should just put it in the chat. Has anyone gone through their spiritual awakening or a spiritual awakening? Do you not know if you've gone through one? No, you haven't. Do you think you have? Put that in the chat if you've actually experienced one, and
Mm-hmm.
and if you can share something that like stuck out to you, like
Yeah, what happened? Yeah, yeah.
something happened. Because I know for me, dreams have always been my thing. I blame the Pisces side of me. Uh, anger. Okay. Yep. Hey, Artie. Yes. Yes, multiple. Yep, many. All my life. Yes, yes, ma'am. All
I
right.
teach anger management. I teach anger management because I was so damn angry.
Yeah, yeah. And getting to the root of the anger is part of the journey. Because when you know why you were angry, you know who you were angry with, and also learning how to forgive yourself for being angry, for the actions that you took while you were angry. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. I went through the whole self-forgiveness part of it, and it was like it was very hard because there were some things you didn't want to admit that you did wrong to yourself. Like, well, they didn't deserve that.
That part.
They did. Well, they did it. That's victim. You are
And
responsible
ego.
for how you respond.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you finally, and then self forgiveness for things that you did to yourself, things that you allow. Like, you work with domestic violence uh, patients. I don't want to say patients, but people, survivors,
Yeah.
doers,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm a
Yeah.
domestic
Yeah.
violence survivor. And
Right. Right.
I
Right.
had to not only forgive my abuser, but I had to forgive myself for allowing myself to be abused and for abusing myself in that space.
Right.
So
Right.
that
Right.
was that was a journey that
Mm-hmm.
I had to embark on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain
Mm-hmm.
things, and then one thing with people who have experienced abuse as children, you got to forgive yourself because there's a part of you that's upset with yourself because you could not defend yourself. but you couldn't. Forgive yourself for not being able to. Forgive
Mhm.
yourself for not being strong enough yet. You are now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Protect
Mhm.
yourself now. Cover yourself now. Stand up for yourself now. You got this.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
And truth be told, it brought out a mean streak in me. It brought out a serious, when I was getting bullied in middle school, that brought out a mean streak in me. After my
Mhm.
abuse, it brought out a mean streak in me, but to the point where I could control it only to protect myself is when she comes out. Like, oh, really? And it's almost like you go run into the fire. Like, I got
Mhm.
this because we about to put an end to this real quick.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it's a journey within itself.
The forgiveness piece.
The
When you
forgiveness.
speak about that, the forgiveness piece is, that was my journey as a kid, growing up watching domestic abuse. I learned that behavior from my mom, ironically enough. And I don't say this to throw her under the bus, but, you know, my mom had some issues, so learning that from her and then starting that behavior being a victim of that as a child, becoming someone that was actually doing that myself was like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, but you talk about forgiveness, having to forgive my parents, having to forgive myself. Like, and it was a struggle because it was like, man, I put my kids through this, my ex through this. Like, this was two relationships when I was 19, and then after that I got married. And it was like, so two relationships. So I had to forgive myself for being so lost, and actually had to go back to that version of me and just hug that version of me. And it's like, all right, man, I know you thought that you was doing, nah, let me just give you a hug. Let me love, because what you needed was love. You needed
Love.
someone to love you and bring you back to humanity. But you didn't know that at the time. So when you talk about forgiveness, and once you forgive and you release that debt, because that unforgiveness holds a tremendous amount of energy. It's like the apps on your phone, the videos on your phone, they take up a lot of space. And so once you're able to delete the forgiveness, now the space is open. Guess what it's open for? All the new stuff that's coming in, all the new downloads, all the good stuff that can come in now. But you got to let go. And now when I look at people, I look at people that have hurt me, and I'm such a, like, I'm at this place where I'm just looking at, like, damn, man, that really sucks that you did that to me, but you must really be in some type of way to be doing that. Like, I hope you get that together, because you got to walk around with that. So I'm looking at them with compassion, like,
Yep.
because you don't know me. Like, I'm a good person. Like, I'm a good dude. I'm a good person to be around. And if you mess that up, that's on you. Like, not from an arrogant place, but just a place of like, okay, all right, I understand that, and maybe our journeys were supposed to end here anyway, and no problem. But I'm looking at them from a place of compassion. Like, what happened to you to where you thought that was a thing to do? Like, why did you think that was okay? And I always ask those questions, like, where did you go wrong to where you thought that behavior was okay? And then I realized, oh, he or she's in their journey. That's
I,
just they in their journey. It ain't personal. You're in your journey.
I look at them with compassion as well as gratitude because
Yes.
we were
Ooh, man.
supposed to align in that way. We were
Mhm.
supposed to experience each other in that way. And we both had the opportunity to make choices after the experience. And if you are still that way, it's asking me for a puzzle piece. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I know that look. This
All
is the
right.
thing. Like,
If you are still that way, if you're still in that mode, if you
yeah,
still on
yeah,
that frequency,
right,
and I can now see you from a different frequency because
yeah,
I think when we're on the same frequency now, we can see like, oh, like we are in alignment. Great. People that we used to be in alignment with, we could say they're on a different frequency. I would dare not get on that frequency with them again. I don't want to
right.
vibrate like that. I can't believe I did that once upon a time, but I'm grateful that I evolved past that. I'm
Mhm,
grateful that I'll be over here and can witness them
mhm, mhm,
and look at them. I pray you figure it out. Like I hope
mhm,
you get it together. I can only continue to be an example and
mhm,
continue doing, going along on my journey, on my
mhm.
path. You just
I
said
teach.
something a few
No, go
minutes
ahead.
ago. You
What?
just said something. Um, It'll come back to me. Go
But
ahead.
to your point, so I teach anger management class, and what you just said, I teach that in anger management class. I tell people I don't leave my place of peace for anybody. Nah, You want to cut up? Cool. You want to win? You want to have a pissing contest? Have it? You, bro. You got it. You win. I'm going back to my place. And then even when somebody does something to harm me, I will take it back to my lab of peace and decide what I want to do with it. You're not getting reactions out of me. I'm not living in that space no more. It is a choice to stay in the place of where, when I say the place of peace, in my vibration that I've raised myself to. I've
Right.
gotten to the coming from that lower vibration of reactionary, like just reacting. That's the animal brain, the trigger brain, and like I don't live there anymore. And even when people do stuff, I always recognize, dude, it ain't really personal. Like this person, they don't know me. They didn't, they took my parking space. Yeah, I want to chop their head off, but you know what?
Leave
All
it
I got to do is
alone.
all I really got to do is go drive one more, and then it's gonna take me a half a minute. I don't why this person got to die because it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But
They're on that. I'm over here. I'm not getting ready to put in that work to bring myself back up from down there. Let them stay
no,
down there.
yeah, yeah. That's something like what you just said. Like I said, it's a powerful piece, and it's a choice. I get to choose. Now, people, and you know this, people do things that's trying to trigger you. You got family members, you got exes, you got people that are close to you that will do things and you know it. And I tell people all the time, first of all, we got to be prepped and ready. Every time we got to, we used to say in church, stay prayed up. Like, you got to be ready when you should know, that, Aunt Booby you know what she gonna do when you go over there. You already know she about to say
Yep.
some stupid. So why are you not ready? Why
Yep.
are you not ready? But these are just things like little tips and tricks. But um, like you said, the word grateful. That's been something that's been swirling around in me since I surrendered. When I surrendered, I became grateful. When I stopped and I said, okay, I'm not fighting anymore, gratitude just hit me. And it hits hard. Whenever I feel gratitude, I'm like, I just start crying. I can't help it. Like I'm so grateful and thankful that I have this knowledge. My life could be the fire could be my whole apartment could be on fire, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the life that I still have. I'm grateful. So that's where I'm at that stage now of just a tremendous gratitude um, for me, for the understanding that I have, the remembering. Like I know who I am. Like I
Uh,
know. And then you know what, Don? Some days life will happen, some bill will come or something. You get a ticket, and then it'll try to bring me back down to 3D.
uh-huh.
And I'm like, nah, man, I ain't going over there, man. I'm not going over there. And I'll go like to here. I'm like, we coming back up here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going all the way. I'm not about to crash out,
Yeah.
because I know too much, and I know that everything is working out for me. I know that it's not a belief. It's not a thought. It's a knowing. And you know about the knowing. The
Yeah.
knowing is where anybody doesn't know about the knowing. Listening. The knowing is that voice, that intuition that you get, and it sometimes don't even make sense. You don't need a community signatures on it. You don't need consensus. You just know what you know
You know what you
you
know.
know and I've had a lot of those experiences, just like, one of them was when I was, after healing myself and from all my toxic behaviors. The knowing was, I knew I was supposed to go speak about it, and what I do for a living is I go speak about who I used to be. and
Yeah.
and, and that's what I did. And I'm like, what the fuck? Well, who does that? Like, what the hell? No, I'm not doing that.
Hey, this is what I used to do, and
Yeah,
I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm telling you, I've made peace with it, and that's a big deal when it comes to waking up to yourself,
yeah, yeah,
loving yourself, including and incorporating all the ugly behind you.
yeah,
That's part of the self forgiveness. That's saying, you know what, because that part of you, like you said, needed you just to love them the way
yeah.
that you love you now. Like,
Right.
just, it's nothing to be. And when you make peace with your past, you don't care about sharing your story. That's your story, and your story is not for you. Your story is for someone who's going through what you
Ooh,
just went through.
the shock of whenever I present. There's always some dude, two or three dudes. Hey, can I see you after class? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
come on, bro.
yeah.
And everybody and what I've found is that my honesty and transparency breeds honesty and transparency. Even from victims, some victims will be like, "Yeah, I'm a victim, but you know what? You made me think. I did some stuff too. You know, and I threw a couple things at at him or her, and I'm like, okay, look, whatever you go through your healing journey,
Yep.
all right. You go through your healing because I'm practicing, and I tell people I practice radical accountability and radical self love, like
Hmm.
radical. Like I ain't playing with my self love, and I'm not playing with my accountability. I'm and because you know what I realized too. I realize I'm here to clear some karmic debt, and I'm not leaving here.
That's a,
Ain't no stone gonna be unturned because I'm trying not to come back. That's my plan. I got this
yeah.
plan. When I see the
We
manager,
all say that. Oh my God,
hey,
we. My girl J Rich, she's in the chat. We say that every time. Look, this is it. This is it.
hey,
I don't want to do this anymore. I've been here enough times. I know my soul is old. It is old, old, old. I've
yeah,
been here. I don't want to do this again. I want to be on an eternal vacation, honey. An
and
eternal vacation.
you know the funny part about that. When we get back there, if they say you are needed, we gonna sign up again.
I know.
We because that's who we. That's but
I
then I said, well, can I sign up as a fly?
want to
Can I
be a
just be a
tree or an eagle. That's
no? I
it.
want to be a fly. I'll
You
be
know,
here for 24 to 48 hours. Get into some shit and then go. And
I felt like if I was like a redwood tree or something, I'd be out somewhere far, wouldn't nobody be bothering me. I'd still be contributing to the world in some great way. And then if I was an eagle, I'd be by myself minding my business. I wouldn't be bothered with anybody.
I really want to go into management on this next go around, so I could just be one of them guys up there laughing and
I
tripping and
got
playing all the damn
my
games.
appointment set. My appointment
Yes,
is set.
I said
Hey,
I'm tired.
as soon as I take
Hey,
that, all right,
this
look
is
here.
this is a long way though. This like we've come a long like I don't know about you, but I grew up in church and being in church and not understanding any of these concepts, just accepting what everybody said and when I think about this now and I think about the concept of God, the universe, divine, like it just blows my mind. And then to think I'm actually a part of that. I'm not separate from that. I'm a part of that. You are a part of that. Like you said, we are all one being. We are a part of that. And it's just so it's a long way. As I'm sitting here processing, I'm just experiencing our conversation. I'm like, dang, I never thought I would be sitting here talking to nobody about this.
Hmm.
Like letting someone else experiencing it and people in the chat experiencing it. And to me, you talk about gratitude. I'm always in awe of this process.
Hmm.
I'm always like it just never like the name stuff like you said the listen within like the E all these little breadcrumbs and little all throughout our life
The
all
whole time. And what's crazy, you say you grew up in church. I grew up with church, but not in church.
right
One of my early, I'm gonna give you two really, really early memories. I remember being in church. It must have been Easter or something because we only went on Easter. Pretty much, we went on Easter. And I just remember sitting there, and I used to like to sit next to my grandmother because she had all the mints and the candy. So it was like I'm gonna get my seat right there because I want the candy.
yeah.
I'm listening to these people, and I'm just like, well, that don't make any sense. Well, that doesn't sound right.
How old were you?
About 3 or 4.
Good Lord. So you
I've
definitely
never
been here,
really
man.
been asleep. I've never really truly been asleep. And then I remember around that same age, I would go outside, early Saturday morning. Everybody on the block, they're coming outside to play, but I'm
Right.
really the first one up. And so I go outside and I would just look up at the sky and I'm like, okay, I'm here, now what? Like I would really get an attitude because I want to know why I'm here. I'm a little bitty girl that's looking up at the sky, waiting for them to respond back to me some kind of way to give me my instructions, probably so I can get the hell up out of here. Well,
She's
listen,
doing this at 3, y'all. She at
I'm like
3.
3, 4 years old. Like, okay, I'm here now. What? Like the same kind of frustration that I still have today, I had then. Can I just get my work done? I just want to do my work and bounce, like be done.
I feel so bad. Poor you, little 3-year-old you.
Earth is
And because
ghetto. Uh-oh. We got a phone call. Earth is
You know,
good.
I just, yeah, because you had the knowledge when you got here. And so you have to go through the progression and steps of natural growth with all, like, I gotta be 3 year old, I gotta be five, I gotta be seven. And you
Exactly.
know, you got infinite knowledge. That has to be so like,
It was actually very very depressing because you talked about that lonely. I've experienced that my whole life. It was that lonely,
mm,
like that everybody's gonna think I'm weird if I say these things. Like I've just recently started getting out of that mentality. It was the I'm different. Why don't I fit in with these groups? Why don't I have friendships like them? Why don't I have friends like that? Why is it everybody's telling me something's wrong with me?
you
Why
were never meant to fit in.
I wasn't meant to. Of course, I had to learn that. And then what I realized a couple years back was when I was crying and pleading for the answers that young, I got the answers without knowing I was getting the answers. Go do the experience of being you, and we'll talk to you later.
What the hell does that even mean? Like,
I didn't know that's what it really the silence was that.
yeah,
How did I
yeah,
know all these things so very young? How come everybody
yes,
was talking about, oh my gosh, she's so smart. How does she know how to do these things and all that? I'm
yes,
very talented as a young girl,
yeah, yeah.
very capable, very smart. All these things. Everybody always used to praise me for how smart I was. And it was just like, okay, well, I'm not stupid. I got that.
Right, right, right.
I knew that. And it was just, I had to, how can I put this? There were a lot of things I had to dumb down
That makes sense.
to fit in. There were certain things I had to pull back from. And it wasn't until I got about 30 years old when my mother started seeing me really crumble, like really, really crumble. Because I was still in that victim part of the awakening.
Right.
I was like, I'm learning things. I had just started trying to meditate. I was reading, but not really embodying it.
Hmm.
And she said, you need to promise me one thing. And I said, what's that? She said, don't you ever dim your light for nobody.
Bars.
I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's us. I don't care what you do. You do not dim your light for anybody. And so I've been for the past 10 years, because my 30s I just say my 30s were trash. And that was the whole dismantling, and it was very excruciating on a spiritual
Hmm.
level.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I had to allow her to transition out. I had to let her like literally had a funeral the whole nine for her.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
I could now give permission and give birth and life to this version of me. And she's
Hmm.
been growing up. So little Dawn, young Dawn, teenage Dawn, young woman, and so on.
Hmm.
I get to play all those parts at different times, at
Right.
different seasons. I still go back.
Right.
Like if I go outside in the backyard and frolic like little Dawn because she wants to play in the dirt for a little while, then she's gonna do that. If she
That's
wants to
real.
go hang out and just sit there like an old lady, she's gonna do that. It's gonna be different pieces of you that you have to nurture.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
and and you have to understand this is who I am, this is how I am, and this is why it just feels right. This is
Hmm.
what I need right now, and I'm the only one that could give it to me. There's no
And
one
you,
else that could give it.
so you didn't have any other, family members or anybody that were like you. It was just you.
If they were much older or transitioned before I got here.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. I had an uncle who I'm learning was, my uncle Calvin, who I knew of and I've seen him a couple times, but I didn't know that he was this.
Hmm.
And he's transitioned as well. I didn't know he was this, and I'm just thinking, I was like, damn, because my brother told me, I was like, man, I wish I could have connected with Uncle Calvin. We actually shared the same space, but I didn't
Hmm.
know. I didn't know. I was not, I had no idea. And he was the one, and he was the black sheep of the family because he didn't follow, religion like everybody else did. But he was cool. He ate avocados. He ran, he jogged, he meditated. That's what I remember. But I didn't know. And my brother told me recently, he was like, "Yeah, Uncle Calvin was on that. What you on right now?" I was like, "What? Damn, what? I
Yeah.
missed it. Like I missed it. Like, come on, really?" But I do understand that. Um, and in the transition phase, the ancestors go on, and then they become the guides, and so I understand that a part of what I'm doing now is because of him.
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that, which I
I'm
didn't
very
before.
connected to my ancestors. Very, very connected. And there's
Hmm.
been quite a couple instances where I've actually asked for them to cover, like when my dad was transitioning, I asked,
Right.
for them to cover him because
Yeah.
they were a source of love for him. And
Yeah.
it would be the next day, my mom would say, "Oh, your dad was talking about so and so," and I said, "Good." I said, "Because I asked him to come."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's a matter of I know a lot of their stories. I don't know who they were, but I know a lot of their stories, and so I can see myself in them in some kind of way. I
Yeah.
can see, my great grandmother, who I did share space with for a number of years. She was born in 1896,
Hmm.
and she was an entrepreneur. She was a woman that was beyond her time. She was a seamstress, a musician, a piano teacher. She played the organ at her
Yeah.
church, and she had her women's groups and all that stuff. And she was that independent woman in the 20s that was just doing her thing. And she didn't, she got married to my great grandfather, but they divorced. She was like,
Yeah.
but they stayed friends. It was like,
Right.
okay, I have
Hmm.
my own life. That's me. I'm the oldest woman in my entire family who has never gotten married.
Oh,
And for me, when I sit back and I say, okay, am I sad about that? Or am I like, but my life
right.
is so full because being that I am the oldest woman in my family to have never had a husband, I have an amazingly full life.
Mm.
It's full. There is no void. Would I like companionship and partnership? Absolutely. With the
Hmm.
right aligned individual. But in the meantime, I get to do all the things that they couldn't.
Hmm. Hmm.
I am an answered prayer of theirs.
And
I
you
wish.
you because you're a rebel, because you're rebelling against what society says. We talk about relationships all the time on here, and people are like, well, you don't have a husband, you ain't been married, you ain't this and that, and this is the programming. So when you see someone free from the programming, you are able to live the way that you want to live. Somebody asked me that. I was divorced in 2010. And then it was like, Dominique, how come you don't get married again? I'm like, for what? Like, why do I do that? Like, I don't. And the thing is it's not a need.
I
I don't
need.
need anything because people are like, don't you get lonely? I said, I'm never alone. Let me just be real. I'm never alone, ever.
Baby, about solitude.
I'm
Woo!
never alone. I'm always with me. And I know I'm always. I spend so much time by myself, but I'm never alone. Like
Yes.
I'm always. When you see my videos, I'm at the park. You
Uh-huh.
know who I'm with? Me, myself, and I, the
All three.
guides and the ancestors, and we chilling. The trees are my friends too, so I connect with them too. So I'm never really alone. But and this is another topic. I was talking to another creator about this, about talking about like relationships when it comes to spiritual awakening, and you don't move from a place of need, you move from a place of alignment.
Yes.
And it's like, because most people move from need. I need to be married. Oh, I gotta hurry up, and and I I need a husband, I need a wife. And okay, how about it? Go ahead, do what you got to do. But I already got that T-shirt. I understand what that is. I understand. And that, that relationship, it was toxic for me and for her. And so both of us. And I am so grateful for that the toxicity, because that's what woke me up.
Hello.
It woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
And when that ended, I blossomed.
Yeah.
And then there was a time, where she was even talking about reconciliation. She talking about what God told me. I said, God didn't tell me nothing. I checked my email and the spam. I didn't get nothing from him. So, and then, but the thing is that there was never a need. And I was in therapy at the time too. And my therapist asked me, he said, listen, He said, um, most couples do this. They break up and they get back together. He's like, what's wrong? Like, why aren't you? I just said, I don't have any. He said, are you dating? I said, no, I'm not. I've been dated for 2, 3 years. Like, I'm not. I have no desire to be like I was in it. I was in that growth. Like I was learning about myself, and so, it's really different when you are moving from a place of alignment.
Got another phone call.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
you're absolutely right. When the desire is not there, it's you being full. A lot of people don't know what it's like to be full.
they don't.
And it's like, okay, like I said, if it's meant, I've had people on this platform say, well, if your perfect person comes, will you be ready for them? I said, if it's meant for me to have them, then it'll happen. But
Of
in the
course.
meantime, my life is full. I am full and complete with myself. When people say I want to be in a relationship,
Oh my gosh.
you just really truly just want a body. You just want somebody to be there. It's fine to say, I do desire someone, but if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. Great. But I want to date. People think going on a date and just going to a bar and allowing any energy to come is putting yourself out there. No. Going out and living life and doing what you love to do in the places and spaces you love to do them in, that's putting yourself out there. And that's how you'll actually align with somebody. I don't want to meet somebody in a bar.
Right,
I'd rather
right.
meet somebody in the produce section who's getting ready to go home and juice too.
You gonna get that avocado, or because there's one more? Like,
Like the avocado, right? So it's a thing where until you know thyself, you will not be able to really make that discerning decision on if this person is right for you. How many failed relationships are out there because you're not seeking or aligning on a soul level?
I was 0 for 9. So hey,
It's based on attraction, but not the kind of attraction that is like, oh, we really flow. We really got a good thing. And the best thing about a soul based relationship is that it is not driven by ego.
ooh,
I'm not here to do
yeah,
anything for you. I'm here to do things with you.
right, 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 right.
Huge difference.
And that that part of being in a relationship, soul-based, conscious relationship, where you understand there's a higher purpose than just the romance. Romance is secondary, love is secondary, the purpose is first, the connection is first. And that's something that, I've actually experienced that. I've experienced that, recently, and it was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is really, really different, to where our soul's growth, and we understand. The crazy part about it is that the way that love is used as a vehicle to spiritual growth. Love is the
Mhm.
vehicle, and it's not the end destination. It's like we use love to get, and the fact that we love each other means we will listen and we will grow. We're open to grow. It is such a powerful, powerful thing, and like I don't. And when I think about being in relationships, before that, I was like, damn,
Where was
like
this?
yeah, but I didn't have the awareness of it, and then to have someone else who actually spoke the language, who understood it. One of the things that actually caused the downfall of that is we started focusing more on the romance piece, and we let go of the spiritual piece.
Yep.
We went 3D and started getting 3D into the ego, and then and I remember like, wait a minute, something ain't right. I
Uh-huh.
remember thinking like this don't feel right, but it's because we let go of spirituality and got so enthralled with each other that we forgot why we. And I remember saying this when I said, this relationship was given to us as a gift, right? Like,
Mhm.
this is a gift. This was not like this ain't just some hinge thing. No, 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 this is a gift. We always have to keep that in mind, and we both forgot it.
Yep.
And
And it,
which
it,
is,
it gave you a preview of what was possible. Because
man,
I too went through that connection thing. And it was just like, this is crazy. This is
yeah,
mad.
yeah,
This is wild.
yeah,
It
yeah.
feels explosive all the time. Like just that,
Hmm.
just touching, just being in each other's presence. It
Hmm.
feels explosive, and then
Hmm.
when it doesn't work out, you feel some, like, wait, okay, but it was too real. No, it was a preview. It was a taste of what's possible, but it's also an indicator you're not done doing your work. They're not done doing their work, and that's the
And
point.
I and then when the end part came, it was like about a week and a half, like almost 2 weeks of processing the end of like what happened. This was really good. It was like this was conscious, and then I was like, wait. So my ego was in there saying it was supposed to work. No, it didn't. That was part of the
It did
plan, like
work.
you said. Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, you're right. Yeah, yeah, no, but it was like, no, I was supposed to possess them, and they were supposed to possess me for forever, or for, like like the movies. It was like, no, no, no. That's not what this is. That's not what this is. So now, when I was processing, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I understand. Just like you said, oh, it did work. It served its purpose because I
Hmm.
got what I needed as far as my spiritual goals. She got hers. We're still great friends today. Still have a tremendous amount of respect and love for her. We just talked yesterday, and great conversation. But we understand, like, oh, we love each other from a spiritual place. Like, we're back at that. We understand that. Like, from a spiritual place. Forget the romantic stuff. The spiritual place that supersedes the relationship. We don't have to be in a relationship to love and respect each other.
Right.
It's like I still see you. I know who you are. I know that I'm connected to you in that way, but we're not in the romance piece, no, anymore, which
Let
I
me
get.
let me ask you a question,
Hmm.
because I want to see if this is because this is part of my belief. Did you find attraction because, yes, alignment, but also because it was like, wow, you speak my language. Wow, you get it too. Wow, did that make them more
Of course,
attractive? More,
of
yeah, I think that
of
it
course.
was just like, oh my God, is she? I think that's
Oh, listen,
the thing that
there were
sparked.
there were other, there was like, okay, at the time we were talking, it was like I had met a few people, and I was like, okay, but what narrowed it down for me was like, oh, we speak the language. Nobody else speaks this language.
Exactly.
You don't speak universe.
Yeah, right.
You over here talking about let's go to church. I'm like, it's cool. Like I can go, but but so I actually it was a learning experience for me, but I that was a deciding factor, because it's just because I was looking for alignment, you
Hmm.
know, because I didn't see anybody that spoke that language.
Right.
I didn't see that. Like, who speaks this language? Who understands this language? Like,
Right.
who? Nobody. So I was just by myself, and I wasn't talking about it. I wasn't having conversations like this. I wasn't connecting with people like this. So I didn't, and I'm over here talking all this universe stuff and reincarnation, and everybody like, what's wrong
People
with you?
looking at
Shut
you
up.
like, what are you talking about? You're a weirdo.
I'm like, you know what? That's all right. Forget it. This ain't even the conversation I need to have. I just need to go journal. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go to La La Land and come back. But yeah, it is that's another piece of this that people they talk about, and the Bible talks about being equally yoked.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know that it's supposed to be equally yoked all the time. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it shouldn't. I don't know.
I don't think so, because then how will you grow? How will
Exactly.
you grow? You can't grow
Yeah.
without contrast.
And
You
it's
know.
beautiful to have somebody that speaks a language, but if you're with someone who doesn't, that's okay too. Like I don't, I mean, I'm open. I'm so open to the process.
Yeah.
Whatever it says, like I don't have well, it needs to go this way. No, no, if it goes that way, okay, cool. Like you said earlier, there's nothing that comes across my path that I cannot handle. Nothing, because I have the backing of this whole entire universe. I'm good.
And it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I can handle, the depths of, some things that, like I said, this last one, I was like, man, am I done? Should I not be here?
Right.
I mean, so that's the part for me that just like, like I said, when I think about everything, it comes back to gratitude for me. Just being extremely grateful for the understanding, the understanding, and then the continuous learning, and then connecting with people like you, and people not like you, and just connecting with people, even people who don't are not on this journey, but who are open to the
Open
fact
to
that I'm on this, and I'm like, man, that's just love. Like I don't care about where you going, but I love you. Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
and
Thank
just
you.
respect the fact that you are on your own. You know, even the friendships that I've had for forever, you
Mhm.
know, they may not get it, but they still respect it. You know, everybody calls me when they introduce me to their other friends. They be like, "This is my Erica Badu friend. This is she be meditating and all that." And you know, it's crazy because I just
That's
came
a
back
compliment.
right. It is. I just came back from the DR and I was with a group of people and. At breakfast, some of the ladies were like, "Well, where's Dawn?" And my friend was like, "Oh, she's down at the beach. She's meditating." Because I'd get up, I'd write a note, say, "Going to the beach." You know, that way they knew where I was. And it's
Mhm.
just like that's my connection time. That's my
Yeah.
getting ready for the daytime. That's me aligning with myself so that I could be around you people
Mhm.
and actually be able to function. You
Mhm.
know, and
Be around you. Yeah.
as an empath, I gotta gear up. I gotta gear
They
up.
don't get that. People don't understand that. That's the whole. And that's if you're an empath in this. Empath should come. It has to be boundaries. You have to have boundaries. Like I got to know when to say, okay, all right, I got to step away. Well, can we connect? Nah, I can't do it today. I told somebody yesterday I can't have a conversation. I'm in recovery today. I'm in recovery. I'm just and I'm at the park. I'm
Yeah,
just I'm at the park.
ooh, that's
You
the
know,
best reset. Ooh,
me in the trees,
the
couple
park
squirrels.
is. I get my best reset at the beach.
That's another one.
You have to find that thing that literally brings you back. And I love the beach because the beach is actually all four elements in one. You have the fire from the sun, you have the water from the ocean, you have the sand in the beach, and you have the wind, the air. You have
Bars.
all four right there.
Damn, that's bars. I like that. I
And when
like
you
that.
just sit there and you take it all in, it's just the most amazing feeling.
Oh my gosh.
Not only is this thing big and greater than me, it's a representation of how small
Hmm.
I am to this whole thing.
Hmm.
It's like literally you're looking at the universe because it's thought that the universe is through the you get there through the ocean. My dad taught me that a long time ago when I was little. He's like, "What if you
Hmm.
go through the ocean?" He started all this mess, but
Good, good.
it
He nurtured
it's
it.
yeah, he sure did. But it's a thing where you don't know how deep this thing is. You don't know what's right there in front of you. You don't know, like, it can literally swallow you up, or it could just allow you to float along with it and bring you back to shore. It's unpredictable.
Oh
It's
my goodness.
mysterious. It's beautiful. It's treacherous. It's
Oh my
life.
God. Yeah, it's
It's
when
life.
you say unpredictable, and like this that's an understatement. Like you think you got a beat on this? You think you know what the next turn is? No. Desiree said five elements to fit the self love. One thing I want to say, I got to get going too. Wait, hold on. What
Oh
time?
yes,
6:30.
we're about to wrap this up.
One thing I want to say too is that something I've been speaking that I didn't even realize was a spiritual root was that I'm a huge proponent of self love. Like I don't care about a relationship, I don't care about a marriage, I don't care about none of that if you have not developed the love for yourself and
Yes.
the understanding of yourself. And I did a video talking about this. Said you better be careful because when you get to a certain level of self love, it's going to be hard to settle for a relationship because you are the one that loves you. Like you said, I'm already whole. I'm complete. I'm not out here looking and I'm good. Like I'm good. And if somebody comes, cool. But that part right there, the self love and self discovery,
Yes.
learning that I like the beach, learning that I like the park, learning these things, and then
I
spending
like
time
my
with myself,
solitude.
which people are like, yeah, well, why are you always by yourself? Something must be wrong. Nope, nothing's wrong with me. I'm good. I'm good. Like
Yeah.
I like how you said it. I'm already complete.
Alrighty. And getting more complete because the more I grow, the more I become, the more I discover, it
Hmm.
keeps raising the bar. It keeps raising the bar. So the more I get to know me, the more I love me, the more I like my life. You're gonna have to be on that same frequency or something quite similar. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
align. And
Hmm.
somebody asked me what's the hardest thing about dating me. I said they can't keep up. because that's just real.
It is.
This
Yeah.
is my lifestyle. This is my way of life. This is my way of being. I'm always, every single day is about Dawn being better than she was yesterday. The job does not stop. The mission is not complete. It's like Kobe said, job not done. Job
He's like, job
finished,
finished?
job not done.
No, job not done. Yeah, I
And the
love
dope
that.
thing, I want to close out by saying
Okay.
the dope thing about all the relationships we've been in, the friendships, workships, family ships, all of that, they all bring you back to you. They all show you in some shape or form, some capacity. It's a reflection of you, and you can take little pieces to learn from them,
Hmm.
through them, about
Hmm.
you. It's amazing. You are the main character in this story of you.
Hmm.
And the objective is to just recognize, I see you, because you are me and I am you.
Hmm. Hmm.
We're
We,
one.
yeah,
We are we.
we are we. Yeah, we are we. We're not different. And that part right there, bringing it back home to where we understand that is just like I feel like that's our purpose at this point to spread that awareness and then let people align with it as they see fit.
As I
And
see fit.
that's why we're here. So I do appreciate this. Thank you for this time. We're gonna do
Thank
this again. I'm gonna invite you on mine. Because
you.
these talks are in this last probably 2 weeks. I've done like 3 or 4 of these now. Like and I'm just like, yep, let's go, let's go, because I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know this is what
Absolutely.
I'm supposed to be doing, and I appreciate what you're doing. Like, send me something for that shirt because I want to get one of them shirts that you got.
Got you.
I want to support the cause. Yeah,
I got you.
yeah. Okay,
Got
okay.
you.
All
And
right.
also, you guys, like I said, for tonight only, 20% off Affirmations Apparel. The link is in my bio.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have a downloadable for $1.11. It is, let me get the title. It is get from stuck to empowered. It's your vibrational awareness worksheet. So it's going to tell you how you're feeling, and you're going to tap in and become a master at identifying and being aware of your vibrational frequency.
Mm.
Everywhere you turn, everywhere you move, whoever you interact with, you'll be able to tune into yourself and actually know what you're feeling so you can be more in control of how you respond to life. Download
Love
that.
that.
Be sure I got a couple other pieces in there. And Dom, I just want to say thank you once again. This has been an absolute treat. I like that. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Birthday. Many, many more blessings and love for you. And we'll do this again soon, you guys. This was
Okay.
great. All
Hey, you
right.
take care. Thank everybody for being here. Y'all take care.
Peace and blessings.
All right.